What is up, guys? This is the Casual Wrestling Community Show. I am one of your hosts, the Notorious NerdyD, alongside the co-host of this show, Milwaukee Mike. Tonight, we are going to dissect all of the happenings in pro wrestling. We are just 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. We are going to drop our biggest takeaways from Raw and SmackDown, what we think The Rock said to Cody Rhodes, and we have a special edition of the Casual Wrestling Slammy Awards for you guys. But first,
better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show. Casual Wrestling Show. We got opinions, we letting them know. Casual Wrestling Show. Hey, ain't no holding back.
So, as always, Mike, let's start the show off with the biggest story that's kind of running around pro wrestling this week. AEW might have lost its biggest star, and that star in question here is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, aka MJF. The star was last seen at the AEW World's End pay-per-view. At that pay-per-view, he was unable to defend his AEW World Championship title against Samoa Joe and was eventually betrayed by Adam Cole, who turned out to be the Masked Devil. Since then, MJF has been absent from the ring and absent from AEW. However, recent developments suggest that there is rumors swirling around he could show up at WrestleMania 40. Now, Mike, I hate to burst everybody's bubble here, but I'm sorry. That ship has sailed for MJF. Not as far as like wrestling fans, but for MJF himself. Right now, as it stands, WWE has every chess piece it needs to be the greatest version of a pro wrestling company we have ever seen, and I'm including the Attitude Era in that statement. Unfortunately for MJF, you just waited too long. You didn't pull the trigger. You didn't commit when you had the chance to insert yourself and let it be known in January that this was the move you're making. You didn't do it. At this point in time, I think the only person who believes this is a possibility is MJF himself, trying to wish himself into the main event of WrestleMania, because he now looks at the two playgrounds and he sees that the WWE one just looks a little bit more fun. But WWE has The Rock, they have CM Punk, they have Cody Rhodes, you have Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, MJF, we're good at the top of that roster. We don't need any main guys anymore. If Maxwell wants to fill out an application to join Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in the WWE mid-card, we'll happily take a look at it and we'll see what we can do with it. But Triple H right now is cooking on a main event stove, and we don't need any more chefs in the kitchen. Like, thank you, but no thank you, MJF. You can politely return back to your dysfunctional home where your man in charge grossly overpaid Mercedes Moné in hopes of drawing up a little more attention as his ship sinks. And once all the smoke clears from WrestleMania, maybe we'll take a look at bringing you in to have a couple matches with Logan Paul and Austin Theory down the line. But there's not a main event spot for MJF in WWE right now. Mike, this rumor has no basis. This is, I think, MJF or AEW in general just trying to stay relevant and in the conversation so that when ultimately MJF does show back up in AEW, they can kind of play this game where it's something like, well, you thought you were going to get him, but we still had him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like you said, I think the ship has sailed. You know, in terms of the WWE roster as a whole, I think you've got your main players right now. You've got your solidified mid-card, and you're about to bring up a bunch of NXT guys after WrestleMania. So where does MJF fit if he wants to make the jump? There's nowhere for him to fit at this point. You know, a lot of rumors are saying, oh, he's going to show up at WrestleMania 40. He's going to help Cody Rhodes. Cool. But what happens after that? I mean, that whole storyline with Cody, The Rock, and Roman, that's a monster of its own. All right. You're not inserting yourself and staying in that picture. So, you know, for me, what I look at in terms of what AEW has done with his, roster spot and his merchandise, I think what's happening is they're getting ready to maybe repackage him, maybe, get him a new render on the AEW website, some new merchandise. It just kind of gives me the idea that he's going to be making a return soon. I don't think he's making the jump to WWE. Like you said, Triple H has all his chess pieces in play right now. there's nothing for him in WWE to do at this point. Maybe down the line.
Sure.
But right now, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, what do you do after WrestleMania? Like, he shows up, he helps Cody, huge pop, people go crazy, and then what? There's no place for him. It absolutely doesn't make sense to me. I think there's no basis for that rumor.
I agree.
All right, Mike. Monday Night Raw is still fresh on the minds of a lot of the WWE universe right now. I'm dying to know, what is your biggest takeaway from possibly, I'll go out on record and say, one of the greatest Monday Night Raws of all time. What was your biggest takeaway?
I mean, that's got to be top 10. Easy. I mean, I could argue top 5. I mean, since I've been watching as a casual fan, that was explosive, 100%. Man. My biggest takeaway, though, is, man, what's up with Roman? I mean, the guy is still not showing up. The Rock has showed up more on television more than Roman. This main event on Sunday of WrestleMania is starting to feel a little bit overshadowed by what's going on with Cody and The Rock. And you're starting to wonder, should that match have been The Rock versus Cody, man? For me, I don't need Roman to be like full time, like cutting promos. Something subtle last night would have been perfect. You know, Cody's bleeding. Roman walks up from the shadows and he's like, you know, thank you for doing that for me, Rock. You know, something subtle. We're not even getting that, man. And I'm concerned because what happens then now when The Rock potentially goes away, which I'm starting to believe now that he's not going away.
I'm with you.
I'm starting really to believe that he's not going away, and that's a whole different topic and story for another day. But yeah, man, the more that this story continues, the more I'm starting to lean that Roman is going to lose this title, because honestly, it's becoming a little bit irrelevant on Roman, and it could definitely fit a storyline between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. So my biggest takeaway is, where the hell is Roman, man?
Roman feels like an afterthought to this story. He feels like a side piece. He felt like the whole SmackDown thing felt like, oh, I'm obligated to show up and make an appearance, but it didn't move forward. The Rock is moving this story forward. I'm with you.
Oh yeah.
So my biggest takeaway from Monday Night Raw probably isn't going to surprise anybody who's listened to me talk for the last year, but you know, here I go. I'm going to take a big shit on AEW, but I'm going to echo the sentiments from my first statement on this show, which is, Monday Night Raw just proved to me how bad of a booker Tony Khan is. How bad are you at booking that Triple H has taken these puzzle pieces and put them together? Look, the two main events of WrestleMania, Mike, feature CM Punk, who even if it's just in a commentating capacity, he is involved and woven largely into the future of Drew McIntyre. That's inevitable, right? Oh, yeah. And then you have the world title, which is Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. That's two guys that were firmly in AEW. Firmly. These are guys who I think at one point in their career had such a bad taste for WWE that they've said out loud, I'll never go back. Right. And Tony Khan drove both of these guys back to places that they said they'd never be. And the sad part is, what was it for? Tony Khan literally has chosen over and over Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and his little group of buddies over CM Punk. And we can only speculate, but I'm guarantee you it was the dysfunction that drove Cody Rhodes back to WWE. That at some point, I can't do this. This is, yes, I started this, but this is not what I was a part of. And the truth is, Dave Meltzer and all these little IWC guys can run around. They can hand out the Booking Buddy awards to each other and tell Tony Khan and pat him on the back. But the truth is, you had CM Punk. You had Cody Rhodes. And these are two instrumental pieces in what is going to go down is probably the greatest WrestleMania of all time. And I know it's weird to talk about the greatest Monday Night Raw and immediately equate that to AEW, but it bothers me. It bothers me when you see Tony Khan grab this new golden goose in Mercedes Moné, who openly has come out on record and stated, this is just a pit stop. This is just, you are renting me for the next year so that I can get off my chest some of these dream matches that I know WWE is not going to let me have, but ultimately you're going to pay me this big bag of money to show up for a year, to keep people excited about AEW, then I'm gone. I'm going back to the big show, and I'll do another WrestleMania when I'm ready. I think, Mike, Monday Night Raw last night was the ultimate introduction to me in what Triple H is willing to do to bring wrestling back to the pinnacle of what it used to be. Cody Rhodes, Rock, you need 30 minutes to open the show? Take it. As long as you want to go. We'll cut the bullshit later on. I don't care about everybody's feelings. So what, Candice LeRae doesn't get her entrance tonight? We're going to put on what people want to see. Oh, and we're going to start and end the show the way you're supposed to do it, with what most people are there to see. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, you need 30 minutes to cook in the middle of the show? It felt like those three guys knew we could go all night if we want to. It literally felt like nobody was in a hurry. And look what you get. You get absolute magic. Raw, to me, doesn't seem quite as long. It doesn't seem like a 3-hour show when you're letting guys cook. Give me 30 minutes of The Rock. Give me 30 minutes of CM Punk, and I'm there every week for it.
Let's not forget that Andrade as well looks like he's going to be a key player, and he's in AEW as well.
Yes, it's insane. Tony Khan's inability to assess the talent he has on his roster and not be able to make the big boy decision for his company and tell guys like Kenny Omega and the CM Punk's that guy. He's that guy. Yeah. Like, I don't give a shit. He was back in rare form last night. And that's going to lead me into a new segment we're doing this week called Stock Rising, Stock Falling. And we're going to start off this segment with me telling you guys who's rising in the Nerdy D casual wrestling market. And for me, it's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's stock went up exponentially for me last night. And I'll tell you why, Mike. It's easy to take shots at CM Punk when he's at home on his couch. That's easy to make t-shirts and poke and make jabs when you're on Monday Night Raw. It's a lot harder when CM Punk shows up in the ring and he's allowed to counterpunch. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm grading that interaction between CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and we could throw Seth Rollins in, but he was a little bit of an after factor. Drew went toe-to-toe with CM Punk. He held his own. Yeah. I graded a draw. And by default, I think that's a win for Drew McIntyre because nobody says that Drew McIntyre is going to go into the ring with CM Punk and come out a draw. Drew's a guy that normally I would tell you is a bad promo. Very formulaic. It's like Drew McIntyre's found his calling all of a sudden, being the anti-CM Punk kind of IWC guy. Like, I know this version of CM Punk isn't really like the IWC king, but Drew's kind of viewing it that way. And it's like, this is the purpose he needed all along, was to come out and say, look, I'm better than these guys that you love. And I think that CM Punk last night thought he took a couple of shots that were going to knock Drew McIntyre out. And Drew just stood there, took the blow, and turned around and fired back. Some of those rehab shots and stuff, those are top level promo from a guy that I don't expect it from. The World Heavyweight title picture to me just got extremely interesting. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk at SummerSlam feels like that could be an extremely real thing. And all of a sudden, it feels like something I'm laser focused on. You put the World Heavyweight Championship in between those guys, and I'm going to pay attention. With as fantastic of a Monday Night Raw as I thought that was, I think Drew McIntyre benefited the most from the exposure he got.
Oh, yeah.
So whose stock is rising in the casual Milwaukee Mike sector?
Yeah. So I went with maybe from left field, but I went Ricochet, man. Ricochet.
Okay.
I think his showing from the Intercontinental Gauntlet match to last night, you can see that they're potentially positioning him to go on a run here. Now, what kind of run remains to be seen. But, man, that match last night, following the Rock and Cody segment, they held up with it, man. And Ricochet came out on top. You know, he is a spot guy. Mm-hmm. He's definitely he's a spot wrestler, which I don't mind. Especially when you're getting product like he put out last night. So in terms of stock rising, I'm going with him. I would like to see what he does if he's given a mic, because I think we haven't necessarily seen Ricochet on a mic much at all during his career time in WWE. A couple times. But if he can get the mic skills down and continue to, pole matches like he did last night, that could be a guy that I want to keep my eye on.
I like that. Give him a mic and take the handcuffs off, because it always feels like he's packaged for the kids.
Yeah.
And I think you take the handcuffs off, give him a mic, and let him kind of cook a little bit. Hot take here. Ricochet's way better than like the Young Bucks. They just get the opportunity to talk and do those things. I'm with you on that one. So then who do you have? Whose stock is falling for you right now?
So I'm going to ask you a question first.
Go for it.
We agree that Triple H's booking has been pretty close to top notch, correct?
Yes.
That we agree with his booking and he knows what he's doing.
100%.
So that leads me to believe that the stock falling this week for me is Liv Morgan.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna say this to all the IWC fans. WrestleMania 40 is going to be one of the biggest WrestleManias maybe ever. She is not going to be on this card. And she's not going to be on this card for a reason. Okay? We need to start understanding things here, okay? She's got talent. But listen, man, when you're not on TV on one of the hottest Raws, maybe in recent time, you're not on the card for one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. You're not winning Royal Rumbles. You're not winning money. She won Money in the Bank, but that was,
I know what you mean.
That was during the Vince
yes.
period.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I trust Triple H's mind and his booking and his creative at this point to the grave, and she's not getting booked for a reason.
I'm going to tell you, I didn't even fucking think about her. Like, that's a great answer, because I completely forgot. Like, she was kind of factored into this whole situation, and last night they literally played the cards and said, it's these two.
Yep.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. For me, with, like you said, with this build to WrestleMania being almost flawless, my biggest drop in stock is Santos Escobar. It felt like a couple months ago, Santos was on this big push and headed towards a big showdown with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden, it's like we did a 360 and we're going to reinsert Dominic Mysterio back into the picture, which I will tell you, for Escobar's stock falling, I don't think this is the wrong decision by any means. I look at this and go, oh, this is smart. This makes so much sense. That feud needed something infused into it to give it a little spark. And so maybe the stock isn't necessarily Santos, it's more Legado Fantasma, right? I assume that it's looking like possibly now WrestleMania could be a tag match, like Santos and Dom versus Rey and a partner. Maybe that's Rey's not 100%. He can't give 100% at WrestleMania. Maybe I've heard the rumors that Rey's retiring and he's winding down. I don't know if I believe any of that. I think it's more of a situation that they looked around and Dominic Mysterio wasn't on the card. And there's not a place to place him in with Judgment Day, really, because that's all kind of lined out. And the reality is, as much as I talk shit about Dominic Mysterio, from a reaction standpoint, he's still one of the biggest heels in the company. So you got to get him on the card. I think that looks like the best place to insert him in. But just by default, I feel like that the stock of Escobar falls, because in the end, it's going to look like Escobar didn't have the kind of swagger to put on a one-on-one with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania that people cared enough about, in the same way that when Dom and Rey did it made sense. So to me, that's where I'm dropping off.
Got you. I got you.
All right, Mike, time for a new segment. We're going to call this one the Hot Mic, and this is a segment you're going to completely produce. It's your choice, whatever you want to do every week. This week, you called us upon to do the Casual Wrestling Slammies, correct?
Yeah. So I figured we saw that they're going to return the Slammy Awards in WWE. And I looked at some of the categories, and there were a couple names on those categories that maybe I didn't necessarily agree with being on that list.
You mean there's a little politicking going on? A little bit of WWE trying to sway the votes?
Yeah. So, I thought it would be cool for us as casual fans to kind of make our own list and present it to our followers and listeners, and let's have a vote on it, and let's see what the results come back as. And I think we discussed that we'll also have our input on it as well. Yeah. So I'll start it off here.
Okay.
We'll go with Female Superstar of the Year. Okay. And the nominees are Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Nia Jax.
That's simple for me. I mean, Rhea Ripley has dominated the last year of wrestling.
100%.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, EO, you can make an argument, but female superstar of the year. And you said you corrected some of these, right, to get the right names in here.
Yeah,
because that's a good list. I'm solid with those. Those 5 names are solid.
Yeah, I figured just based on the year, those are the ones that kind of stood out.
100%. I'm with you.
So next we'll go male superstar of the year.
Okay.
We have Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Gunther, and Jey Uso.
I'm interested to hear what you say on this, because I think this one is.
It could go either way.
There's so many ways that you could justify an answer on this one.
100%. I'm going with Gunther. I think that
I'm not mad.
I think he's had the most consistent matches and the most memorable matches. And he's consistent on television. He's, taking that intercontinental streak and he's kind of lengthening it a little bit here. I think that's where I'm going to go. I think that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the way I look at this, Roman, Cody, and Seth all steal votes from each other. And then Gunther is the guy, like you said, that's had the consistent, clear. Yeah, I'm gonna double with you there and go Gunther, superstar of the year. Okay.
So now we got best entrance men for the men, not combined.
Okay.
We split it up here. We got to be fair. We got to be fair. So we got Jey Uso, Bad Bunny, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins.
I hate Seth's entrance.
For me, I think back to Backlash in Puerto Rico. Bad Bunny by a mile. Bad Bunny by a mile.
I'm okay. I'm gonna go Jey Uso.
Okay.
I like Jey Uso's entrance. I think it gets the crowd hyped up every time he comes out. I think out of this list, I don't know that I remember Bad Bunny's entrance enough to give it the credit that it deserves.
Listen, you won't hear fight from me because I was at SmackDown on Friday and a dark match they had Jay come out.
It's live, right?
It's electric. It's electric.
He's got big things ahead of him.
I agree. So next we'll go for the women entrance, okay? So we have Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Io Sky, Shotzi, and Bianca Belair. Now, a lot of people are going to wonder why I put Shotzi in there, and I think it's more presentation with the tank. And the
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, but I think Rhea Ripley for me is going to be that. I mean, that's.
Can I write mine in?
Yeah.
Naomi.
Ooh.
I love Naomi's entrance.
Okay.
The fucking glasses and the lights, and it's just like, to me, it's like a spectacle. I'm not that excited when she's in the ring, but like her entrance to me is exciting. But yeah, as far as the list goes, Rhea Ripley by far.
Okay.
And I think Naomi doesn't count because she's been here 3 weeks, like 4 weeks. She hasn't been here long enough. I just wanted to write that one in because the new glasses, I need glasses like that. Did you see them Friday with the lights and shit? I need those.
Yeah, I got you. So next is Return of the Year. Okay. We have The Rock, CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton, or R-Truth. For me,
you slipped that last one in there.
Yeah, I think for me though, it's like a tie, man. And I'm going to have to go with CM Punk because it was more captivating.
Yeah,
with the background story and everything leading up to it.
The will he won't he was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doubling down CM Punk, but R-Truth is a sleeper there, boy. Because you talk about coming in and making the most impact. It might have been R-Truth.
I'd agree with that. So next we have Faction of the Year. Okay. We have the Bloodline, Judgment Day, Damage Control, LWO, or the Alpha Academy.
I gotta go Bloodline.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna let. I gotta go Bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not? I mean, Judgment Day's up there just because they've been so consistent on television. But yeah, man,
I feel like Judgment Day's like they've had the tag titles, but do we really care? Like, there's been a lot of the R-Truth stuff was great. They have these moments, and then it's like they don't capitalize or they're not given the opportunity to follow through. Even Damian having Money in the Bank has felt less and less substantial as we move forward.
Yeah,
so I think Bloodline, because I think I still equate Jay as part of the Bloodline, even if he's not. That whole story still. Cody, it's all kind of intertwined. Now The Rock, I think I'm going Bloodline.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So next we have Rivalry of the Year. We have Seth versus Drew. We have Chad Gable versus Gunther. We have Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. We have Bianca Belair versus Damage Control. And we have R-Truth versus the Judgment Day. This is a hard one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list because this is the first time I didn't want to pull this up before we started. I'm literally doing this as we go in my head.
And this is definitely one of them that I definitely inserted some different names.
Okay.
Because I felt like some of them that they had on there was just dumb.
Okay. Tell me who you inserted after. I want to just make the assumption here off the.
I can't think off the top. I definitely added Becky versus Trish.
Okay, which is I think one that needed to be there.
Yeah, and then I added Gable versus Gunther.
That's my pick. And if that wasn't there, that's my pick.
Okay. I am going to go with Seth versus Drew.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with Seth versus Drew because actually, you know what? I'm going to go Gable versus Gunther.
There was just something like I still don't understand why that's not the match at WrestleMania. I understand you got to get Sammy on the card, but to me that was compelling. There was a moment in time where I was pulling like, "Hey, Gable's the guy." Like it makes sense for Gable to be the guy.
Yeah. So I agree with that. I go with that. So next we have NXT Superstar of the Year. We have Carmelo Hayes.
Okay.
Ilya Dragunov.
Okay.
Trick Williams, Tiffany Stratton, or Lyra Valkyria. I think for me, I'm going Trick Williams.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't watched enough of any of these guys to know anything. I like whoop that trick, so I'm with you. We'll go Trick Williams. I haven't watched like Tiffany Stratton, but that's only based on what she's done on SmackDown. I've tried over and over to be an NXT guy. I can't. So I'll go with you on that.
I go Trick. Tiffany's a close second. She's definitely a close second. Yeah.
Okay.
So match of the year. We have Cody versus Roman.
Okay.
We have Sammy versus Roman. We have Rhea versus Charlotte. We have Becky versus Trish. I'm gonna go with the cage match. Oh no. Was the last woman standing match? They had two of those, I think.
I liked the cage match. If I was picking, I don't remember the last woman standing that much.
But we'll go cage match on that one. And then we have Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre.
Which was?
At WrestleMania.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm going to go Rhea versus Charlotte.
Me too.
I thoroughly enjoyed that match.
That was 100%. the emergence of Rhea Ripley.
100%.
That was the match. Like I belong here. I've gone from kind of newcomer to it was the passing of the torch to me. So I'm with you. I agree. Sammy Roman close second. Yeah. In that moment, that was pretty epic.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm with you. I'm gonna go Rhea Charlotte there. Match.
Yeah. OMG moment of the year. CM Punk returns. The Rock teasing a match with Roman. Rey Mysterio turning on Dom. Roman retaining at WrestleMania. Or Cody winning the Rumble back-to-back.
All right, so I expected Cody to win, so I'm not going to go OMG moment. I'm looking at this as kind of a Roman retaining at Mania is interesting. Dom and Ray, I'm not that big on.
I'm going. It's CM Punk for me. I mean, that was like holy shit.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The Rock teasing a match with Roman, though, I remember like jumping out of my seat and being like, this is real. This, like, we've talked about this for a long time. This is real.
Yeah.
But I'll go CM Punk because the build, like the anticipation, I remember like watching that show and being like, he's not fucking coming. He's not coming. Yeah. It's over. They've run the little corner box that they put up there. It's done. And then it hit and like I was running around my house. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to CM Punk. I gotta put myself back in the moment.
Yeah. So last one here. Breakout Star of the Year, we have Jey Uso, LA Knight, Tiffany Stratton, Trick Williams, or Nia Jax.
Okay, Breakout Star of the Year.
I am going to go with LA Knight on this one. And I think I want to go Jay, but I think with LA Knight, there was a period of months that we were just on LA Knight's back and just wanting him to get everything. And I think he had a good run. I think we could still see a run from him, but yeah, I'm gonna go with LA Knight.
I'm going to go LA Knight, but I want to put an asterisk next to it because I think the biggest mistake that Triple H has made in his booking run here is not having LA Knight win Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest mistake. It just, even if he cashed in and lost, I think the momentum of that meant more than Damian Priest winning Money in the Bank and doing nothing with it for, almost a whole year. But I will go LA Knight. I think I'm with you. I want to go Jay, but Jay's exciting, but I don't think he's I think he's still breaking out. I think he's still on that upward rise. So I think we could talk about that even next year as a possibility.
Yep. So those are the categories and nominees. We'll get this.
So how are we going to do the voting? Because I always struggle with these things on where are we going to do the voting at?
Yeah. So I think we're definitely going to put it on social.
Okay.
I will find a way to get it up on TikTok, and I know we've talked about getting things figured out with that.
Definitely, we're getting all organized.
Yep. So we'll get that out, and then we'll figure out a way for you guys to vote, and then next week's show we'll announce all the winners. Yep. Awesome.
All right, Mike, we're a few days removed from last week's SmackDown, and per usual, I want to run by my biggest take from SmackDown to you so that you can kind of give me your thoughts on it. My biggest takeaway from SmackDown this week is probably not what most people think, because it's obvious to jump to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, but I caught something in SmackDown a little different that I wanted to bring to light and get your opinion on. Like, Mike, I think kind of behind the scenes, we've seen an evolution of Bianca Belair in the last couple of weeks. I think we're seeing this transition to a slightly edgier, like a darker version of the character that's still babyface, but is kind of defying all of the wrestling logic that exists of like a babyface just has to do what a babyface does, right? You just always got to do the right thing. And I think that this story with Damage Control and Bayley has seemingly become far more complex with the addition of Naomi and Bianca Belair. The avenue that this story now can take is interesting to me, because I still think the tag team titles are in play for Naomi and Bianca Belair. I think that works at WrestleMania. But I also see a world where Naomi gets taken out, causing Bianca Belair to kind of step in and mend some fences with Bayley. And then possibly we know Jade Cargill showing up Friday. Could that be where she inserts herself like we thought all along, and we get the super team of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill ultimately leading to a match later on down the line? We have to assume, Mike, right? Bianca Belair is wrestling on this card. Oh, yeah. There's no way she makes it, even though there's no announced match, there's no way she makes it there and she's just an NPC for Bayley. That's not happening. We can't let that happen. But I think through all this evolution of Damage Control, Bianca Belair behind the scenes has found a voice that we've always kind of talked about. Bianca is the greatest title chaser that I've ever seen in WWE. When she's focused on winning a title, there's nobody more compelling. But I think in this kind of Damage Control story, she's found the voice of logic and reason. And we can go on all day about the love for Bianca Belair in the casual wrestling community. Lots of people are big fans. But without bias, I think that easily this kind of subtle change is going to put her number one in line to be the next big thing in the industry. And I'm talking about the entire wrestling industry. And it's not going to happen overnight. Right now, Rhea Ripley has a stronghold on being the face of women's wrestling. But I think that this evolution has put Bianca Belair just quietly one step behind. Whereas as we turn the corner from 40 and we head into 41, as Bianca kind of rounds out her character, Instead of chasing and crying and doing those things that she's typically done as a babyface, if she rounds out this character, I think she will skyrocket to the top of the division, Mike. And I will go on record that by WrestleMania 41, I think it will be Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. And that will be the moment when we see Bianca ascend to, people hate when I call it John Cena, but it's the John Cena. She will ascend to that next level that is even a step above Rhea Ripley. And Bianca Belair by WrestleMania 41 will be the top person in all of women's wrestling. That's my takeaway from SmackDown.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm getting like vibes of like John Cena versus Randy Orton. How John Cena had a kind of a serious run where like he's still a babyface. He's still like the man of the company, but I gotta take this serious right now.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think 41 is for sure got to be Bianca versus Rhea. And look, man, I like the edginess, man. I think she needs it, and she needs to kind of knock off the whole, happy-go-lucky and just like, hey, I'm here to make the wrongs right and get this thing moving.
I mean, too many times in wrestling, before you jump in, too many times in wrestling do we do the stupid thing where like, hey, you beat me up all summer. Now we can be friends. I love the like, hold on. Like, we're not going to forget about the shit you did.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you on that. I think my biggest takeaway from SmackDown, and this is from a person that was in attendance, is that WrestleMania 40's main event is going to be the biggest match that WWE has ever had in their entire existence. The energy in that arena when Roman Reigns comes out and then Cody Rhodes comes out, and seeing the split of fans between Roman and Cody, and seeing people arguing a couple rows down from me about who's going to win at Mania and what the story is going to be, and just the aura and just, everything tied to this thing. This is going to be bigger than Hogan and Andre. This is going to be the biggest thing that they've done. And you mentioned last week the whole Avengers situation. That looks to be pretty damn true at this point.
You saw the snap, right? You saw Roman snap, right?
The snap, and then, you can hear the crowd react to Jimmy and Solo coming, and then Seth, and then Jay, which Jay I didn't see coming. That was a little bit of a curveball. That was a little bit of a curveball. Yeah. I like it though, and it makes sense with the story. But yeah, man, this is going to be, and we're in Philly of all places. This is going to be crazy, man.
This story is so much bigger than one person. That's what I kept saying last week. It is the fall of Roman Reigns has to be kind of, it's a changing of the guard in WWE. So I do think it will be the most final movie looking scene that WWE has ever produced. That's what I believe. And I think you're right on it with that.
And I think people need to start understanding. I know I've seen a lot of people getting upset with how they're kind of making Cody look like a bitch a little bit. This is by design.
That's storytelling, man.
They have got to make him the biggest babyface. So when he does win the title, he had to climb the mountain to do it. You got to pay attention to stuff.
And I want to jump on the back of what you just said. That's the problem with wrestling in general, right? That's the problem with AEW. Nobody wants to be that bitch. Right. Nobody wants to. But what you said is, the farther you get dug down that hole of looking like all hope is lost, the more when you finally win, does it just create instrument. And Cody understands that. It takes someone like Cody. It also takes someone like The Rock to understand how nasty you have to be as a bad guy, and be willing to understand that at the end, you're probably going to be made to look like a fool.
Yep. And Rock's a businessman. He's setting up Cody versus Rock. 100%. That's what he's doing. 100%. I mean, listen, he's invested in the tag match in the main event, but he is setting up Cody versus Rock, and people have to understand that.
All right, Mike, let's take a question from the community. This week's question was submitted. I got it from multiple different places. Also, it's all over the internet, so it's not a secret. Remember, guys, if you want to submit a question, you can do that by joining the Casual Wrestling Discord or emailing questions@casualwrestlingcommunity.com. This week's question, Mike, is what do we think The Rock whispered to Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw? I'll jump in because I know it's pretty much been deciphered by the internet. I think that they're saying he said tonight you're going to bleed. But I want to play pretend. I want to play like my ears were covered. I don't know what he said. And I want to say what I believe he said. And I believe kind of what you just said, that The Rock is setting up down the line for The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. I want to believe that he leaned in and said, this is my story now. This is my story, that you are now just going to be a chapter. You can win this match. You can get that title, but it's ultimately you're coming to the final boss. And I think there's a chance The Rock ends up champion in 2024 for a short period of time. I think that he's that invested. I think more than ever, I think that The Rock has fallen in love with this villain role. He's fallen in love with being the final boss. This is his ultimate role. And I think that the heat that he's getting, he loves. There's also a part of me, Mike, I know I turned and said Cody's winning, but if The Rock was to cost Cody that match, if it just straight up, the heat that The Rock would walk out of WrestleMania with would be insane. Setting up for, I know we say he's not going to be at SummerSlam, but who knows? Like, I think he's so invested, he'll be wherever he's needed. SummerSlam, Cody versus The Rock for another chance at Roman. I just think he's committed. I keep saying there's 3 outcomes to this story, right? There's the outcome that's best for the company. And to me, the best outcome for the company is pushing forward, having Cody win clean, and there's a clear picture of the future of what WWE is. I think there's also the second option, which is maybe the most exciting, is The Rock costing Cody Rhodes the match. And we move forward with the final boss and the tribal chief looking hand in hand like the most powerful faction of all time. And then I think there's the third option, which is I call the safe option, which is The Rock turning on Roman at WrestleMania and Cody winning in kind of this like messy fashion where Cody gets the title, but it wasn't by his own doing. And The Rock and Roman move on to their own thing. And to me, at this point, it's really just Triple H kind of saying, which version of this do I like the best?
Yeah. For me, like I said, it's been deciphered. I think it's, it was pretty blatant to see what he said.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm going to make you bleed. I just want to hit on that main event again.
Go for it.
Cody has to win clean. And when I say clean, he has to win without getting help.
I agree with you 100%. That's how it should be.
It can't be a rock bottom or somebody hitting a finish on Roman and then him. It has to be orchestrated by himself. I also don't believe that there's going to be any turning in this match. I think that I don't.
You think it's straight up?
I think it's going to be. It just, for me, it's starting to make a little bit less sense for Seth to turn on Cody or Rock to turn on Roman. I think that could happen after the match, but for the match, I don't. But then last night, Seth had that little smirk on it. That is why I'm invested in this shit, man. Because it is you can really. And then last night, was it an Easter egg? The trailer with John Cena and Stone Cold.
That's crazy. That nothing seems accidental anymore.
So I want to say that Rock whispered, "Go get your friends.
Go get your." I like that. Go get your buddies.
Go get your friends. Go get your friends. Yeah.
All right, Mike, typically from now on to close out the show, we're going to do a blind rating. This week, we've won way over time, so we'll save it for next week and get that set up. But we'll do a little game where we'll spin a wheel 5 times. I think you've probably seen it on TikTok, and you insert the people in blindly. So we'll do that. We'll pick that up next week. Other than that, you got anything?
No, man. On the road to WrestleMania.
2 weeks, man. You pack your bags yet? Get your stuff ready.
Man, I'm ready to go.
They're releasing more tickets. I mean, that's insane, man. That's how big this thing is going to be.
It's gonna be fun, man.
This has been another episode of the Casual Wrestling Community Show. Make sure to like and subscribe if you don't already. Remember, you can clip your favorite part of the episode and share it with all your friends across any social media platform. The merch store and the Casual Wrestling website are undergoing construction, so be on the lookout for new merch and a new version of the website that's kind of going to be a companion to the show, where I want to be able to put the votes and things up on the website so everybody can access them. Make sure to follow us on all platforms, TikTok, YouTube, X, wherever you are, we're probably there. You can search Milwaukee Mike or Casual Wrestling. And as always, we enjoyed hanging out. I am NerdyD. That is Milwaukee Mike, and we will talk more casual pro wrestling next week.
Better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show.